Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're doing something a little bit different, but honestly super fascinating. We're going to take a highly clinical, intensely focused look at just a single 7-word piece of digital taxonomy. We're breaking down exactly how human emotion, that raw need to connect, gets synthesized with e-commerce into one tiny digital footprint. And here it is. Get well gifts to Hungary. Walwater Gifts. That's it. Those exact 7 words and that little vertical line, that is the entire boundary of our explainer today. Now, I know it looks incredibly simple, right? It's just a passing thought you might type into a search bar, or maybe a title tag you'd glance past on a browser tab. But within this stark, exact quote lies a highly structured formula. It's literally a microcosm of the modern internet. So over the next few minutes, we're going to unpack the hidden architecture of these 7 words. We'll slice them apart to see exactly how digital taxonomy manages to capture the full, warm human experience. Okay, let's dive right into this with Section 1, the human intent. Empathy as a keyword. Because look, before you get to geography or commerce, there absolutely has to be a catalyst. By isolating this very first phrase, get well gifts, we immediately see the core emotional driver. Sure, on a purely literal level, it's just a noun phrase. It denotes a type of product. But in the realm of search taxonomy, it represents something so much deeper. It's that raw human desire to comfort someone who isn't feeling well. Think about what that actually means for a second. The person sitting at the keyboard isn't just looking to execute some cold financial transaction. They're trying to bridge a gap caused by illness or injury with a tangible, thoughtful expression of care. So the internet has to figure out a way to categorize empathy. It takes this complex, deeply personal feeling of wanting a loved one to recover, and it converts it into a queryable, indexable data point. Get well gifts is quite literally empathy digitized. It's the emotional anchor of this entire string. And that brings us to our second component, the geographic variable, or crossing borders. Empathy alone kind of just floats in the ether until it hits the physical world, right? To Hungary. And this brilliantly illustrates how a general wish suddenly has borders. It has customs regulations, shipping zones, reliable delivery schedules. The user isn't just looking for a gift anymore, they're looking to solve a very complex problem of international logistics. They're telling the digital space, hey, I have this empathy, and I need it routed safely across the world, specifically to a loved one or a client in Central Europe. This tiny 2-word phrase instantly narrows millions of potential data points down to one specific geographical reality. Now notice the tension and really the harmony between these two concepts. On one side, we've got get well gifts. That is pure, unbridled emotional intent. On the other side, we have to Hungary, a strict, totally inflexible geographical constraint. Analyzing this pairing reveals the absolute genius of digital taxonomy. You literally cannot fulfill that emotional intent without solving the logistical constraint. This search string pairs the softness of human connection with the hard reality of international shipping. Together, they create this highly targeted digital concept, the cross-border delivery of care. This is where the user's problem becomes fully defined. They know exactly what they want to say, and they know exactly where they need to send it. All right, let's transition to the final segment of our source text, the commercial entity, the provider. But wait, before we look at the provider itself, we really need to look at the structural divider sitting right smack in the middle of our string, the pipe symbol, that little vertical line. In digital architecture, title tags, search strings, this is an absolutely vital piece of punctuation. And it's not there for grammar, folks. It is strictly there for code. It cleanly and digitally segregates the action, the user's need, from the brand name that's actually going to fulfill it. It acts like a digital wall. On one side of the wall is what the user is searching for, and on the other side is the entity providing the solution. It's a visual and algorithmic cue that tells search engines, okay, the query ends here, and the commercial authority begins here. Which brings us to the final 2 words, Walwater Gifts. We've now isolated the commercial entity. This marks the definitive shift from the user's abstract need to the specific, trusted provider of the service. The emotional intent has been officially matched with a corporate identity. The taxonomy is complete. Walwater Gifts is presented as the premium solution to the equation we built in the first half of the string. They are the ones who are actually going to take that get well gift and ensure it safely makes it to Hungary. So let's move to the macro view and see how this all builds. Stepping back, we can see the exact structural progression we've just mapped out. It's like a perfect 3-step staircase. Step 1, the product. The user identifies the emotional vehicle, Get Well Gifts. Step 2, the destination. The user applies the logistical filter, Hungary. And step 3, the brand. The digital taxonomy presents the commercial resolver, Walwater Gifts. It is just a flawless, logical flow from a raw human feeling to a geographical location, ending securely in the hands of a commercial enterprise. When you look at it broken down like this, I want you to actively consider the deeper implications here. What does this phrasing actually reveal about the way we interact with technology today? Think about it. We have essentially taken the deeply complex, highly nuanced human action of worrying about a sick friend overseas, and we have condensed it into a 7-word formula. It reveals that in the digital age, our most profound personal connections are mediated, categorized, and ultimately fulfilled through highly structured metadata. So, the crucial point is that this specific combination of words isn't just some random assortment of text. It is a literal masterclass in efficiency. In a single functional breath, it accomplishes 3 distinct tasks. First, it completely encapsulates human empathy. Second, it identifies a strict, real-world logistical constraint. And third, it introduces a commercial presence capable of bridging the gap between the two. It really is the perfect marriage of human desire and digital capability. Which leaves us with this final overarching thought to consider today. As our lives become increasingly integrated with digital systems, how are our emotional intentions, our loves, our worries, our celebrations, distilled into these highly specific search terms? Every time we reach out to someone far away, we are translating human connection into e-commerce taxonomy. We are turning our empathy into data. It's a fascinating reality of the modern era. So the next time you type a simple phrase into a search bar, take a moment to realize just how much of your humanity you are encoding into the machine. Now I have a question for you all. What is the most thoughtful Get Well gift you've ever received or given? Share your story down in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.